Many students have told me, I think I understand everything when I read, but I still get some questions wrong. I am just so careless. In fact, it is not because you're careless. It is not because of your English proficiency. It is because of how your brain processes information the first time you read it. I'm Lee E., a TOEFL coach that has taught for more than 8 years. I know this situation very well. This happens to me sometimes too. So in this video, I'll show you a six, this is how we do six in my country, 6-step reading system using one academic passage about vertical farming, not to read faster, but to stop the blind spots that cause avoidable mistakes. The same system also applies to short daily tasks like emails and announcements. Step number 1, read the question first. Not the paragraphs, but the question. The main goal of doing so is that it helps you activate active reading, not passive reading. When you read all the paragraphs first and only then read the questions, 2 problems appear. You may forget details and need to reread the paragraphs anyway. Or your brain may form a vague or wrong first impression that you trust too much. So read the questions first. Tell your brain what to pay attention to, what keywords to look for. This prevents you from reading the text with a random, unfocused mindset. At this step, you're not solving anything yet. You're just making sure you never read the passage completely blind. If you're taking the new TOEFL 2026 and want extra practice, timing, and scoring guides and updates as we collect more real results, there's a link below this video. Fill out the short form and I'll send it. Step number 2, know the question type. The main goal of doing so is to prevent misreading the question itself. Once you've read the question, quickly label in your mind what kind of job it's doing. For example, from this particular passage, there's the vocabulary question. This word immersed in the passage is closest in meaning to, you must understand how the word is used in this sentence, not in isolation. Inference question. What can be inferred about the purpose of controlling temperature, humidity, and water use? The answer will not be copied word for word. You must combine the sentence with your own reasoning. Rhetorical purpose question. Why does the author mention leafy greens grown in multi-level shelving units? This is about function. Given an example, illustrating, supporting, accept questions. Which of the following is not mentioned as a challenge? You must tick off what is in the paragraph and chose the one that never appears. If you don't know the types, can you still answer? Of course. It just increases the chance for you to misread a little bit. Step number 3, read the entire related paragraph, not just one line. Never read only the sentence you think contains the answer. A lot of smart reading techniques are about just reading one line and then you will be saved. Okay, you can save a lot of time. That's what they tell you. But based on my experience and my students' experience, even if the answer is technically in that particular sentence, you should read the sentence before it, the sentence itself, the sentence after it, or perhaps the entire paragraph, or sometimes even the paragraph before it or after it. Why? Because when humans read a sentence for the first time, misinterpretation is very, very normal, even in your native language. So let's take question 4 as an example. You see the question points to paragraph 3, so you read the entire paragraph. Okay. First sentence, second sentence, third sentence. So now you understand what the paragraph is about, what role the leafy green sentence plays inside it. It is a concrete example of vertical farming in cities. So this step alone fixes a huge percentage of reading mistakes. Okay? Step number 4, look back at the question and predict before you're reading answer options. Before looking at the answer choices, go back to the question and ask yourself what the answer might be. based on what I just read. Okay. This step exists for one reason. Once you read options, your brain starts adjusting meanings to fit them. Your brain does that unconsciously. Okay. So, for example, question number 4. Why does the author mention leafy greens grown in multi-level shelving units? So read this paragraph. You can pause it here. And then you think about the answer before you read the answer options. All right. Okay. If you're done, let's continue. So after reading paragraph 3, a reasonable prediction is that, so it seems like the author talks about leafy greens in these units to show that in the city there's a strong demand, it's really close to the market, and it can supply the market very quickly. Something like that. Okay, and then we look for answer options. Okay, now there's only one option that is close to what is in our brain. Step number 5, check the option again. Always verify with the text. Even if you feel confident, you must verify. This step exists to fight the thought, I remember it, so it must be right, right? Another example. Which of the following is not mentioned as a challenge of vertical farming? You do not guess. You check one by one using paragraph 4. High construction and equipment costs, mentioned. High energy use for lighting and climate control, mentioned. Limited crop variety, somewhat, yes, okay. Dependence on outdoor weather conditions is not mentioned, okay. Some people might say, well, I don't think I have enough time if I have to go back and check all the details. Well, when you first start to prepare for TOEFL, I recommend everybody just, keep the clock over there, but don't limit yourself. Don't force yourself to follow the time limit. Record the time that you use per question, but don't force yourself to follow the time limit just yet, because the fastest way to finish all the question is just to go A, right? That doesn't make any sense at all. So we need to if I were you, I would just put this 6-step protocol next to me and make sure that I go through each, especially for the questions that are challenging, so that you internalize and this protocol becomes your muscle memory. If it's your muscle memory, then you can check very fast, okay? Now it's slow because you're not used to it yet, okay? All right, so once again, verifying your answer is always important, regardless of question type, but especially important for detail or factual or negative factual, which we call except questions. Okay, number 6. When unsure, expand one pair and recheck. So when do you use expansion? What is expansion anyway? Okay. The answer option is just a short line. So instead of just using that short line and decide whether that's the right answer, you turn that into several longer sentences. Okay. So usually you might be wondering which one of the 2 answers is correct. So this is when you use expansion. Okay, so let me explain with question number 2. What can be inferred about the purpose of controlling temperature, humidity, and water use? Suppose you were stuck between A, it eliminates the need for human monitoring of crops, or B, it helps optimize plant growth under indoor conditions. And you're just kind of not sure. Okay, you checked the paragraphs, you verified it, but you're still kind of unsure. Okay, so what do? So if you expand A into several sentences, it will sound like something like, okay, the reason farmers control temperature, humidity, and water is so that, so people don't have to constantly look at crops, take care of crops. all the time, make sure that it has water, make sure the temperature is right. Humans don't have to do all the kind of work, okay? Not at all, never in the future, okay? And then B, it helps optimize plant growth. So that means if we control the temperature, humidity, and water use, so the plant will grow better in indoor. It will grow taller. It will grow. You will produce more fruits, or the leaves will be bigger. I don't know. So basically, it will grow very fast. Okay. All right. So now we have two expanded options. Each of them are a few sentences. So which expanded example do you think you see in the paragraphs? Is it the expanded A or is it the expanded B? All right. I believe that you do not, or you have not seen anything about like constantly taking care of the crop, looking at the condition of the crop, etc. Right? Okay. So again, this is also needed to battle that blind spot, because when you read one sentence, there are nuances of the sentence that your brain might just skip. Okay. So when you expand it, those nuances will be revived in a sense, right? You will then catch those nuances turn them into fuller sentences. Okay. All right. So why does this 6-step system work? Okay. So this system is not about being more careful in a vague way. It's always about checking your blind spots. It exists to fight a predictable human pattern. You form a wrong idea on first glance. You trust that idea, and you don't even know that you're trusting that idea. And of course, you never re-examine it. So here are the 6 steps again. You can screen cap if you want to. For short daily tasks like emails and notices, the passages are shorter, but the same logic applies. The question types are still the same. If you practice the 6 steps consistently on academic passages like the vertical farming example and on daily tasks, reading stops feeling like, how did I miss that? And starts feeling like, I can prove why this answer is right. My next video will be about the interview questions in speaking. So if you're a little bit concerned about the interview questions, stay tuned.